don't have to sell. Just give them knowledge.
Welcome to Life, Business, and Everything in Between, the podcast for small business owners, creatives, and entrepreneurs navigating the space between big dreams and everyday chaos. I am Leslie Shields, a longtime entrepreneur married to another crazy entrepreneur and raising a tiny human in the middle of it all. This show brings you real conversations, honest insights, and practical encouragement to help you keep going. Whether you're building a brand, pivoting through change, or just trying to lead yourself, well, you're in the right place. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to Life, Business, and Everything in Between. I'm your host, Leslie Shields, owner of the Shields Agency, where we help entrepreneurs and small businesses build smart health insurance strategies. But this podcast is not about health insurance. It's about business mechanics and the stories behind small business owners. And our guest today is Jennifer Serra, founder of Jennifer Serra Beauty Team, professional hair and makeup team serving Dallas, Fort Worth, and beyond. And I think you guys are doing a lot of traveling right now, correct?
We are.
You're a lot of beyond. So I'll give you just a few minutes. I want to go ahead and get started by introducing yourself and tell us who you are, where you've come from, and we'll get kind of in the meat and the guts because she's got a great story to tell.
Awesome. So I am Jennifer Serra. I have a team of hair and makeup artists, 11 actually currently, and we travel all over Dallas, Fort Worth. It originally just started with me, but because I had the background of business development and marketing and sales, I kind of just copied and pasted everything that I learned from the corporate world and took it into my own business. And I mean, it was really hard. It's really hard to when it's your own money instead of corporate money, you know, like I don't have the budget. I don't have the budget from corporate. I had me. Every penny had a purpose. When I first started, I wouldn't recommend doing it the way that I did it, but I did it though. And it develops you, your character all, just overall. But, yeah, now we're here. Just yesterday we were on Fox News. So I worked on some pretty incredible people yesterday and connected even more, but every day is an adventure. And I am very happy. Sometimes a lot of the time I'm like, this is surreal. Like, is this really? And it's been a great journey though, so far.
Absolutely. I love that. We were talking a little bit as we were loading into the platform about how we know each other. And so crazy enough, we were introduced and connected by a joint mutual friend of ours, a photographer, Cash Anglin. And he said, you guys should meet. Well, then after he introduced us and I said, we'll talk to Cheyenne, who's our producer. And I mentioned, on the pod all the time. She was like, wait a second, I know Cheyenne too. And so strangely enough, we were multiple layers of connection. And we were just kind of talking about how we knew Cash and then also learning about how we know Cheyenne. So why don't you tell me how you know Cheyenne?
I have to go like way back. This is when I first started. It was from another networking group. I don't even remember what it was. I know the niche was moms in general. And I know at the time that she had a gym as well. And I think just in general, that is one of my passions in life is just health and wellness. So I don't know what Cheyenne is up to now, but it was great to see a familiar face in the emails.
Absolutely. So I have known Cheyenne and Wacy, her husband, for probably 10 years because we all were at the same co-working space together. And then when she opened the gym, I went there. Like that was where I worked out and I loved it. And it was very convenient to my crazy entrepreneurial lifestyle. I went in, it was like 20 minutes, a couple times a week. It was great. And then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, obviously she had to close the gym and I was also pregnant. And so, but I was pregnant, super sick, but I wanted to stay active. And so she did virtual training with me and like, I'd have to stop and throw up during our trainings, but she and I really like trauma bonded for life over this stuff. and so I've been so lucky to have her as part of my circle. And then after they closed the gym, she kind of pulled out her old skills of her marketing and her branding. She's been doing social media with me and some marketing work for probably 5 years now, several years. And when I wanted to do the podcast, became the producer of the podcast.
Nice.
And yeah, so it's a really great partnership, and she's got her own company, and then, she works with us. So, but let's do this. Let's get into a little bit of your story. And so then kind of the beginning, right? Mm-hmm. You were a nurse.
Oh, actually, I went to nursing school. I did not become a nurse. I made it into the program. I had 2 scholarships under my belts, loved the sciences, got into the program, and I prayed every single day for it to click. But when I got there, like, it just was not clicking. Like, every single day I would try to study, something would get in the way. And I figured, I made it that far. Why is there a wall?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I had to kind of be true to myself at that young, I don't know how old I was, maybe 21 or something. And I had to drop out. And to me, that was devastating as a 21-year-old. You made it that far. You got into a program, and I had always told myself that I wanted to go to school for business. And ever since I was a little girl, I didn't know what that was going to look like. I just knew, for whatever reason, mm-hmm. there was nobody in my family that had a business background. I just knew there was something there that I was going to get into business. I didn't even know it was going to be makeup. I don't feel like I'm the greatest artist, but I somehow made a whole team out of it. So
it's so interesting how, you end up in one path, right? Nursing school, and you're there, and your body and your soul and your whole being is saying, this is not aligned.
Mm-hmm.
It's not aligned. It's not where I need to be. But making the decision to drop out, that's bold.
That is, it was bold. It was scary. It was devastating at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was next from there? And you say you started your business by accident.
By accident. So right after nursing school, I actually, I was working in Ulta during my small mini mesters, and while I was in nursing school and working within Ultas. And I was a natural at sales. I was a natural at just getting people to like buy things, like just makeup. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I can do that, and I can do that better. I'd see sales reps, and I was just so intrigued by them making people excited. I'm like, I could do that. And I finally applied for a job. I was not like a super makeup artist or anything at the time, but I loved engaging and getting women to get excited and letting them see like themselves, a better version of themselves. So I came in as a sales rep. After a while, I blew like all sales quotas very easily. It was just so natural to me. I loved it. I ended up being in charge of business development and relationship building and going into accounts and building those teams. I would go in, and every single month I was top salesperson every single month, nationally, not just within the small territory, across the nation, every single month within the top 30.
So what do you think separates elite salespeople from average ones?
Just education. You don't have to sell. Just give them knowledge. That's it. That is it. And I think that's what makes people feel like grimy. They're like, ooh, it's sales. No, you're just telling them. You're just sharing.
Yeah, that's so funny. That's how I talk about sales all the time. I'm like, we are literally solving problems and providing education.
That's it. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, so top performer to then your own business.
Oh yeah. So after that, I mean, I was realizing that like, okay, I'm making these top sales quotas for these companies. Why not do it for myself? And that was kind of a rude awakening. I started to realize, okay, I'm making some quick money here doing like my own side gig, but I can't fully commit. I can't make the money over here unless I fully commit. So I was like, you know what, let's do this. We're making more money over here. So I just dropped everything from the corporate world, and I just started my business, and I decided like, we're going to swim hard. And at the time I was the only one like in charge of the bills, taking care of the kids, everything. And I had a newborn baby, toddlers. It was a madhouse. But I had the skills, and it was hard every single day. Literally, I had to tell myself, get the up, get the up, because it was that hard.
And you had 2 kiddos at the time?
No, I had 3 at the time. 2 of them
That's
were like 20
Yep. You go, girl.
So and on top of that, there was, I would say, like my own personal turmoil underneath all of that, that I had to deal with. And that was hard because, like, you really have to, like, dig and find that internal voice.
And do you think that's is that turmoil from the strength to build the business, strength to do it while having kids at home, or overcoming something else?
Woo, that was, honestly, it's all of it. It was all of it crashing down on me at the same time. But with my personality, you tell me I can't do something, I'll tough through it and punch through it even harder. That is my personality. Some people sit there and they get depressed. Like, not me. Like, I will go and I will fight through it 10 times harder. And I think that was part of a lot of my character development. And I had to learn, like, a lot of that grit had to come from within me. Yeah.
So I think one of the things that we really try to tap into and share, right, on this podcast is the grit. It's the real stuff. It's building a business and laying on the fetal position on the floor and crying just because it's just so much.
Yeah.
I talk about a lot my journey when I was in the business for 5 years. And then when I decided to start the agency, it was November 2019, right before COVID, right before I found out I was pregnant, right before I had hyperemesis and vomited the entire pregnancy while building the agency. And so I think that's kind of what it inspired me to start telling these stories, because I think a lot of times we see, there's entrepreneurial degrees. We say, go work for yourself. You'll get time and freedom and flexibility. And I don't think everybody knows or thinks about how hard it really is.
Especially that building process from the beginning.
God.
You have to even get to a certain point where you look like you're relaxed on a beach. Do you realize I was doing 60 hours of time in my car while my kid was in daycare, and I had to pay for that daycare because I saw a long-term vision, you know? Like, I'm the one that paid for that because I saw a potential there. Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. And especially with having little babies at home, right? That's something else we talk about as moms who pull this off. And were you a single mom when you started your company?
I would say it's complicated. I would say, without disclosing like way too much, I was in a very abusive relationship. So every single day was even harder because it felt like you're swimming against a current and you don't realize it because that is your person. That's what you were used to, you know? It wasn't until I finally left that it was like a breath of fresh air. I didn't look back. And it felt like I was moving with the current finally. And I'm like, what is this life? What is this? And it got even, like, life gets even more beautiful. So I want to also shine the light that, like, it matters who is in your circle. You have to be mindful. Sometimes you don't even realize that the people that are within your circle are the ones that are, you know,
sometimes it's really hard, even in friendships, to make decisions that say, this is not where I need to be.
For sure. It doesn't serve you anymore. It doesn't, you know, you grow as a person, I believe.
Yeah. I also think it gets lonely at the top. Lonely at the top. In being a business owner. And we were talking a little bit about EO, and I talk about that on this podcast too. And that's become my business owner tribe. And that's where I can like lean in and connect to people who, and I am a baby business compared to these people who are doing, you know, multi-millions in EO, but I wanted to be surrounded by people who were doing really big things.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how I absorb and how I learn. So let's talk about hiring. some of your
Okay.
first employees, because you have a team of artists. And so did
Yeah.
you start out solo doing makeup and then start hiring? How did you start bringing on people and make the leap from being a makeup artist or solo person to scaling?
Sure. So I think I was a little bit spoiled in a way. Like I said, I was already within the beauty industry for quite a long time already, almost like 13 years, I believe. So I kind of had the connections. I had a good solid amount of people that I already knew. I knew their work ethic. I knew their quality of work. I knew how they managed people. I knew that they were good with people. So I just brought them along. But a lot of the time with that skill, which is really advanced, you can't always afford to pay them, especially when you're starting. But with that said, I ended up hiring a pregnant teenager, and that I was like, you know what? I have the time to cultivate. I have that experience to cultivate and train this individual the way that I know how, with my experience already. So I basically trained her, and that she now works with a whole bunch of great teams, and she has got her own business now. But it was hard for her too. I had to train her from the beginning, and that was I'm very, very fortunate for her. And I also have people that I have recruited from other places. I just recruit from the top, honestly. Now, that's what I do now.
Yeah. So in the beginning, you say you had to make some creative or scrappy decisions to pull it all off. What are some of those things? Like, what did that look like? I think, especially when you're bootstrapping your company.
Oh, I mean, I would say, and I'm not trying to be pretentious or anything, I was the best investment here. Like, I had the knowledge. So, like, I just had to be a little bit more creative with the marketing, get involved, put my ego aside and put myself out there a little bit more, introduce myself so that I could get jobs. And every time I left the house, I knew that every single minute was spent very wisely, very wisely. There is no, oh, I just showed up. I feel defeated. No, I need to make a connection. I need to make this minute matter. I need to make this penny matter. So every single time you got to think more than just like, oh, I'm over here at this networking thing just for one thing. Just make the most out of it. Oh, we need to do content here. You know, there's always something that you can do to capitalize on where you're, I always make sure that when I'm going somewhere, it's intentional.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so too. And I think especially when you have kids at home, your time away from your family has to be super intentional.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. A quick thank you to our sponsor, the Shields Agency. The Shields Agency is the insurance agency behind this podcast and the work I do every day. We support entrepreneurs, small businesses, and independent contractors with health insurance and benefits. But more importantly, we help people make intentional decisions during busy seasons of life. We work with founders and growing teams who want benefits that support real humans, retention, and long-term sustainability, not just checking a box. Our approach is consultative and educational because no two businesses or families look the same. If you're ready for a more thoughtful approach to insurance and benefits, the Shields Agency would love to support you. And now, back to life, business, and everything in between. So talk to me about who your client is. Is your client the bride? Is your client the movie set? Who do you guys work with? And has it been that way since the beginning, or has that changed?
Oh, so it is always evolving, and I feel like it's odd because the clientele has actually evolved in the stages of life. So our main clientele at first were brides. Like, I was hitting big numbers with brides, weddings, and then it evolved into my biggest clientele was maternity. And then it would evolve to the biggest clientele was newborn sessions. And then it evolved to majority of my clients were boudoir. So it was really interesting to see. Now I'm actually getting athletes and doctors. So I don't know if that's an evolution of myself or it just happens that way, but we do everything. We're doing pageants now. So I kind of pivot with what comes our way. Luckily we're able to do that. Make hair and makeup is very There's opportunities everywhere.
So that's a lot of, I would imagine, and you can tell me, a lot of odd hours.
It can be.
It can be.
Yeah, it can be. Sometimes we're up at like 3 a.m. and but no, for the most part, like it's not it. It's pretty consistent. We can, as far as my team goes, we can drop our kids off at school and go and pick them up right afterwards.
Yeah.
Same on the weekends. We have a little bit of flexibility too, which I love about our job is we can also say no to jobs as well.
If it's not a fit, if it doesn't align.
Correct. And we can always say no. If you don't want to take the job, that's okay. You want to sleep in? That's okay.
So is your team now, you have a team of 11, correct?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. Is your team now, or do you hire 1099? Are they W-2?
1099.
1099. Great.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
I always find that everybody has different models. And is
Yeah.
that model, so everybody has flexibility? What is that? Like, how did you choose to structure your business?
For myself, I feel like if they want the flexibility, if they want to be able to go home with their family, they have that to turn to. Like I also want them to have the freedom to say, no, I don't want this job.
Yeah.
Cool. Like, I know there are some jobs that are like, no, you gotta make it to this,
yes,
like to the job or else you're fired. No, like I very much respect boundaries too. Like if you tell me, no, I'm not feeling it, it doesn't align with me. Cool. No, not a big deal.
I find that my company has built my boundaries, and my culture was built out of my own life circumstances. Right.
Okay.
So like me being a mom, and having a newborn when I'm launching an agency built who we are as a company and as a culture. Mm-hmm. Do you find, I hear that, and like what you're saying, like if they want to go home to their families, how do you find that has influenced you as a business owner?
Say that again.
So I hear when you're talking about your 1099s, giving them the time, the flexibility to be with their families or pick and choose and to build their own boundaries. Yeah. How do you think that being a mom and a business owner has influenced you and your business and what you've built?
I think mostly it is respecting everybody, listening to their needs. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of hard because it's like what I started with, like the intention. That's why I started the business, because I wanted that flexibility. So like, I feel like that's what my team sees. I don't know what to say from there.
Yeah. I think for me, I knew I wanted the flexibility and I wanted that life, and I try really hard to provide that opportunity for other women.
Yeah.
It sounds very similar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm a firm believer that men and women lead differently. I don't think one is better than the other, but I do think we are different leaders.
Yes.
In how we work with our teams. So, entrepreneurship journey, there are moments that are really hard, and there are moments where you almost quit. How have you stayed confident when your circumstances didn't reflect your vision yet?
Honestly, I have to be very proactive with what I put in my mind, how I talk to myself, how I talk to people, the conversations that I engage in. If it goes a negative direction and it doesn't align with me, I just walk away now. It's just, I don't engage. You can sense it now that I'm in a better headspace.
Yes.
You know, when it's, you just know, you feel it.
Yeah.
And you're talking about like how men and women are different in leadership. Like we have to lean in on our intuition, and our intuition, like it's a thing. It is a thing.
It's huge. My husband's like, you should just lead with your gut all the time.
Yeah, for sure. And that, I don't think, like I do have to put my masculine energy on to lead the team a lot of the time. My lead hairstylist is, I joke, I'm like, you're team mom, I'm team dad, because I have to physically compartmentalize. Like, this is my role, right now I can't talk to the team or else I'll come off a certain way. I have to be self-aware of that. But yeah.
There's so much visualization and so much mental work in this and like removing the head trash, right? And making sure that you're surrounding yourselves by the right conversations. And if I start to spiral in a rabbit hole of imposter syndrome or negativity or not being able to see on the other side of a problem, you got to like step back and use those. For me, it's visualization. I see myself on the other side of the issue. What does it look like, feel like, smell like? I know every hard thing I've ever been through, I've come out on the other side and something has come from it. Oh. Right. Yeah. And every problem you make it to the other side of. So for me, I always think about, okay, what does it look like on the other side of this? I know I'll get through it. What does it look like on the other side?
Interesting. See, I don't have that. I don't have that visualization. I'm like, I'll leave it to God to take me where, because honestly, I don't talk about it a lot, but my resume is like so many people's dream resume, dream job. And I'm like, I want to get to know people. I want to get to know the souls of these people. But
that's your why.
That is my why. And I do believe that is why I succeed, is because I love getting to know the actual person. But having that resume of like, oh, I just did this celebrity. Oh, I just did this influencer. It doesn't drive me at all. Yeah.
And one of the things that sounds like that you also love about what you do is making women feel confident and beautiful.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about that. Why, how how it's a passion for you.
That is one of the most rewarding things, is it's really bringing that out of women. Like, oh yeah, there's that girl. A lot of the time too, we're talking about being moms. We tend to lose ourselves. It's very common. We lose ourselves in like taking care of everybody and our jobs. And what happens is we come last. And when they hire us, they finally put themselves first in a way. And we're able to like bring that back for them and give them the confidence again. Yeah. And I think all our artists are really good at making everyone feel loved and wanting to like really listen and hear too. Because a lot of the time we are also their therapists and we absorb, we have real talk a lot of the time. Real talks, and not that we're trying, they just get comfortable with us very quickly. We're literally touching. We're fortunate enough to be able to like make people feel relaxed and beautiful. And so they're like, oh, you know what? Let me just tell you about my life and everything.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking, like, I just did a big photo shoot and the makeup and the photographer were both super in sync and the results were fantastic. And the photographer sent me a sneak peek and I was just like crying because I was like, you don't know how bad I needed that today. I was feeling so bad about myself for whatever. I don't even remember what it was. And I needed that. And thank you. And I sent it to the makeup artist too. I was like, well, and we just all kind of celebrated that.
Yes. That is a great makeup artist, whoever you had to make you feel excited.
Yeah, we loved it. And so your company has evolved, right? We've talked about some origins, some beginnings, some struggles. What are you building towards now? What's next?
Ooh, that I do not know. I'm in a weird season where I am receiving what God has given me. And that has been an exercise in and of itself the past year, like to just, again, I was a mom of like basically a single mom of so many littles where I had to push through and find like solutions, at least 5 solutions to every problem. That's my mindset. At least 5 solutions to every problem. Pick one. So this season that is it right now. Like maybe that's what it is. Just enjoying the season. Yeah. Because I do feel there are bigger things that are coming, honestly. Like in my heart,
I have goosebumps. I feel that for you.
Oh, good.
I do.
Good. 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 Yeah, it's very different. And I know a lot of people don't get to exercise that yet, or they're not in that phase of life yet, but it is a mindset shift that I have to get used to right now. And I am fortunate for it. I'm able to like reflect even more on the journey and how I got here a lot of the time because of it. And I'm very grateful that like God has given me that opportunity too, because there was a time where I didn't know, like I had to cut off a particular genre of makeup that I was doing because I had things that were getting in the way. Every single time I'm like, okay, God, what are you trying to tell me?
Yeah.
Like I had to connect the dots. I'm like, every single time I would go, like either my kid would have asthma or one would break out in hives or there's a bad traffic thing. I'm like, okay, you are trying to stop me from this genre for a reason. That was half the income. I'm like, okay, I will not do it. And I took the leap. And what's crazy is that I started working less but making more because of that opportunity. It is wild, the most wild thing. So I'm like, okay, I'm still going to just receive. That is not something that I'm used to, but I will do it. So
yeah, my last year, and I think I'm still working on my word for this year, but last year my word was listen. Yeah, which is hard when you're, got your foot on the pedal and you're building a business and you're leading a team that's stopping to listen. And like not just to people around you, but also the universe is very difficult.
Yes. I think I've fine-tuned that this past, I'm like, oh, okay, I hear you. I got you. Like it really is a thing. And it is beautiful when you are able to listen. It is like, it's everywhere too. It is everywhere when you actually get to listen. It is everywhere.
So you shared with us that your favorite quote is, if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Is there a struggle that shaped you the most?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I had a pretty easy life, and had that not happened, I think, I never was the best at school. I don't even know how I made it through school. I was the kid that would go to the bathroom because I was bored and I would do jumping jacks. I'm pretty sure I had severe ADHD. I think that's what makes me a good entrepreneur because I'm able to hop to different jobs and everything. I think that the adversity was my biggest educator in life, and being able to actually understand others. And I do learn fast once I get into the situation, and I pivot very, very quickly. And I learn, I make sure that every single time I even leave to do a job, what did I learn from it is what I ask myself every single time, whether that's something very minuscule.
Yeah. What did you learn? It's so funny as I say that, in our household, ADHD is a superpower.
Right.
Because we have two entrepreneurs, two businesses, two minimum businesses. We just, this is how we function. Yeah. And our little guy, we're positive has ADHD as well. And we're trying to help him succeed. Yeah, we try to shape those values in him, because we do think that they have made us, like you said, very successful as entrepreneurs. And it seems to be a key trait in a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yes. Yeah.
Is this little ADHD thing we have. So Jennifer, I'm so excited for you and this journey. And we love sharing these stories of overcoming adversity and tapping into success. And if you had to look back, which I just kind of a little bit in this, what did your hardest season give you?
It gave me appreciation for the struggle, I know again that what is to come is a much bigger. And I know that I'm going to have to look back at that and be like, that's why. That is why.
That's why. So I'll ask you this one last question, and then we'll end with a few fun questions. What would you tell the woman sitting in her car working off her phone right now?
Okay, it'll be worth it. I promise you, it is hard. It is so hard, but you can do it. You can do it.
You can. Okay. Are you ready? Some rapid fire.
Sure.
Coffee or champagne?
Coffee black.
Early mornings or late nights?
Early.
Sales floor or runway?
Sales floor.
And one word that defines this season for you.
Calm.
Calm. Ooh, I love that. I feel that. Thank you so much for sharing your heart and your grit and your wisdom today. And where can our listeners connect with you?
You can find me on Instagram, Jennifer Serra Beauty Team. You can also find my personal Facebook page too. Just kind of scroll through and get my personal vibe, and also see some of our clients, our client list.
Fantastic. And we'll share all that in the show notes as well. And to everyone listening, if this episode resonated with you and you want to share it with a friend, tag us or leave a review. Those reviews help amplify stories like Jennifer's. And until next time, keep building your life, your business, and everything in between.
Thank you for tuning in to Life, Business, and Everything in Between. If today's episode gave you something to think about or made you feel less alone in the hustle, we'd love it if you'd follow the show and share it with a friend. Real stories, real talk, and just enough chaos to keep it interesting. We'll see you next time.